Hello, we're going to put it all together now, all of our product costs with a little bit of analysis. All right. So the last few videos, we've calculated our DM. We made sure to include our acquisition costs. We calculated our direct labor to make our product, and then any other supplies or overhead costs. So let's go ahead and put it all together. Total product cost equals, let's start at the top, equals cell K20 plus K28 plus J37. So that's my total product cost. I'm going to bold it, Control B, put some thick borders around it, and maybe just make it a little bit bigger in font since that's an important number. And I know the analysis is for the end of your report, but even at this point, since it's still fresh in your mind, you could kind of go back and take some notes to mention later in your analysis, right? Total product cost of 46. You're going to want to know what is making up the majority of that figure, right? So go back, you can see it's your materials by far that's making up the majority of that product cost, right? 41 out of that $46 is coming from product costs. So that represents area for improvement for you. So then within that 41, dig a little deeper, right? You can see your cheapest is the flowers, right? Most of it is your decorations, or in my case, my decorations for the planter boxes, and then my soil and also my acquisition costs. So then in your written analysis, depending on your findings, talk about how you can improve each one, right? So for me, for the acquisition costs, I could say I should try to take less trips, right? This was a trip to get the materials for one job. If I went and got the materials for 4 jobs instead of just 1 job, I could spread this across more units, right? But then you can also talk about the drawbacks of that. Well, unless I have those customer orders, I don't know what specific items they need. Do they need a gardening soil? Do they need a succulent soil, a cactus soil, an African violet soil? There are so many soils out there, guys. I was shocked when I went to the gardening store. So I may not be able to buy supplies for my future customers unless I know what that future customer wants, right? Same thing with flowers. Do they want succulents? Do they want petunias, et cetera, et cetera? So that's one recommendation, make less trips. But again, I mentioned the downside of that. You could also talk about wholesale, going to a wholesale nursery instead of a retail nursery like Ace Hardware. So if you go to a wholesale nursery, the soil cost will come down and the flower cost will come down. Another thing I could do, I could have the client provide their own flowers. That way they pick exactly what they want from the nursery and I don't have to make the trip and I don't have to incur that cost. So that could be another option for me to mention in my analysis. And the adornments, right? The elephant in the room, that's way too much. So I could either have the client supply the adornment, maybe they have a specific decoration they want included in their planter box, maybe something from their family or something that was made by, their children. So maybe I can get them to provide that or find a cheaper alternative, have my daughter make the adornments, right? We made some really cute painted rocks for her school. So maybe that is another option. So these are all things that I could talk about in the analysis, right? And again, maybe you don't want to wait till you're all done with the report, maybe step by step, make some notes. My highest cost in direct materials is blank. This is what I could do to make that better, right? So that's an example of how to calculate your total product costs, add up everything from your DM, DL, and MO, and then just take a minute and reflect what your largest costs are and what you could do in the future to make it better and communicate that to me in your written analysis. All right, thank you. On to the next one.